Hey guys, this is Ras and Ashley, and this is SheWolf Alchemy. And today we're talking about learning not to hate while you wait.
Yeah, while you are waiting on that thing you've been wanting, whatever it is you've been working towards, waiting on, trying to attract into your life, and you start seeing, other people getting those things for them, that's not the time to hate, whether we're doing it intentionally or not. But just kind of talking about that, maybe some reasons that might bring up those feelings for you, what some better alternatives to doing that if you notice yourself doing it. I think feeling jealous or envious is something that can happen naturally. Like no one really has to teach you how to want what somebody else has. But yeah. Have you so we talked about this at one point though of like whether or not haters actually exist. Like we did an episode
Mhm.
on that.
Correct.
So have you ever felt this feeling before of like feeling like you were hating while you were waiting?
Yeah, I think definitely when I was younger. Definitely. Because of the way that I grew up, I definitely struggled when I was younger with like, if I did A and I did B, I should get C. And if you did A, but you did not do B, you should not get C before me because I did A and B. So I should get C first. And
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with that learning. Like, yeah, sometimes that's not how it works. Like, you can be at the gym the longest. You can be the one that tries out and that got a coach and that does the routine and that da 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 da. And the one person, it's their first try, their first shot, they do good. And they're like, we're going to sign you. Here's the deals and blah, blah, blah. I really struggled with that when I was younger because I was very much taught like you do A, B, C, and that's how you get B. And
Mm-hmm.
so it took me a minute to learn, like, nah, just be happy. Look, they got D, they didn't have to do that. That's fine. Be happy for them. And envious over that is not gonna do nothing for you. Like, it's just now this wasted energy. It don't help you get any closer, it doesn't make you feel any better. Yeah, it's wasted energy. What about you?
I felt it, I think, kind of like I guess kind of like what you're saying when you feel like you've taken all the steps and
Mhm.
you're like, man, it sure seems like everybody else is,
Mhm.
so it's never been like directed at any particular person's situation, but just like it feels like everybody else is kind of
Mhm.
getting what they work for or it's just being
Yeah.
given to them. That's another thing, and we assume that because we don't know what other people got going on, but we do
Mhm.
assume, that other people have it easier than us sometimes. So yeah, I think I've definitely felt that of like, oh, other people just have it, they've had it so easy. Look at this person. They're
Mhm.
traveling and they're whatever, should be me. I'm doing everything right. I'm
Can
doing
can I just name a phenomena I'm seeing a lot online that like goes directly ties in perfectly what you're saying? The women that have been told to be the good girls and they will get a husband.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They are struggling with this right now. They are struggling to know that they could have been thought and be married.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
definitely see that
I tried to tell
online
them
a
they didn't
lot.
care. I tried to tell everybody tried to tell them they didn't
Look,
matter.
look.
They didn't wanna listen.
I've definitely tapped a few people on their shoulder, like, girl, have fun.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not saying to thought, but I'm definitely saying if you feel like doing something, do it. Have fun. Don't restrict yourself because you think it's gonna end up being this happily ever after and only that's the only way
Mhm.
you're gonna get chose. Girl, go have fun.
What happened? These men don't care. They having fun. Anywho, but yeah. But you're right. Those things, even when it comes to love, we can have that like, how come? And it's a dangerous place. That is a
Mhm,
dangerous place to be in it. And like, it is not fruitful energy to be like, how come anything, any type of comparison that you call yourself giving, but I know it's there, that little green monster that's like, how can this person look this way, be this way, have this or not have that, and get look like they happy, look, look like they got the love of their life. And
yeah.
what the hell, I'm whatever it is, this, and that. I'm the best. darn it, or whatever it is we think. Or I'm great. I have blah 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 blah, and I can do all these wonderful things.
Look, like you said, slippery slope.
Mhm.
Slippery slope. I mean, we've all seen the argument. Just a couple months ago, I think there was like an argument online of some woman being like, I think it started off with a woman who was like plus size. I got some fine man. And she was like, well, don't let them think because that's not the norm because blah, 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 blah. And there she was, BBL and all, looking beautiful, looking perfection, single.
Mhm.
And it was just like, and girl, guess what? It didn't matter. It literally did not matter.
Mhm.
You pushing all this energy on this happily taken woman.
Minding
But
somebody else's business.
yeah, but I think it goes back to that, like, if you're told there's a set of codes and it's you type in these codes and this is how it works, and then you
Mhm.
study these codes, you focus on these codes, blah, 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 and then you find out one day, religion, these codes don't work. It messes with a lot of folks. It
Or
messes
you
with
feel
a
like
lot of
somebody
folks.
is or you feel like someone is skipping the line. It
Mhm,
this same mentality goes into like I know one of my first like social work classes, like our ethics class, where
mhm,
he was bringing up how like people will make all this fuss about people having food stamps and getting steak. How dare they have food stamps and buy good food? I don't I don't really know what it is that people are upset about. But what you really mad about is because you can't buy steak. That doesn't mean that they should not get to have steak.
mhm,
Okay. Ask
or
yourself why, when you feel that you work hard and do whatever, whatever, why can't you afford steak? That's
mhm,
not them people fault. And I remember him making that point and realizing that like I had those thoughts, like I had been that person before that
mhm,
was like judgmental about what the fuck people do with their fucking yeah, it cleared something up for me and was like, wait a minute.
mhm. Yeah,
I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at whatever the hell is going on. That's got me in my situation.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I had to have this realization I was mad at the rules. I wasn't mad at the people, I was mad at the rules. I was mad because I didn't like the rules, but I was following them. And I was like, "How come they don't have to follow the rules and they get to have fun?" I was told not having fun was how I get to whatever the goal was. I know for me, kinda same type of thing. I had the realization where, I can't remember what was going on, but I was still in my 20s. I was still young. I was still like 22. And I can't remember who it was, but it was some girl who, real hood, real ratchet. And she had come up off of something. And she was like on social media or something. It was something like that. It was like a conversation that was being had. And I was talking with a friend, actually one of my guy friends about the situation, and it was something about representation of Black women. I was just like, and I just don't want that to be the representation of Black women, da 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 da." And he was like, I mean, she's not promoting violence. She's not promoting recklessness, drugs, or anything. And he was like, why are you mad? And I was like, because like I don't want people to see her and see this as Black women. And he was just like, all Black women deserve to have their own version of representation. And he was just like, "It feels like you're mad because you think only a certain type of Black woman should be seen and should get this level of fit, this level of money, this level of status, this level of blah, blah, blah." And he was like, "Why can't Shanika down the block also get it? Like, why are you mad that Shanika is making it above?" Like, he broke it down to me so well. He was like, "It just feels like sometimes y'all are okay and clap when, Shanika down the block gets a job with the city, making $36,000 a year. Y'all get real mad when y'all find out she make 250,000 a year." And I had this realization, like, oh shoot.
Hmm.
He's like, let's talk about classism, blah blah blah. And I was like, simmer down, simmer down, simmer down. Don't use my talking points against me. But yeah, like, and I had to really challenge myself, like, yo, wow, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I want to say like, oh, women, oh, Black women, but yeah, I did have like a us
Mhm.
versus them,
Mhm.
because, we follow the rules and y'all don't. I wish I
Yeah.
had to do better, but, not too much. And
Yeah.
I really had to challenge myself on that of like, yeah, really had to challenge myself on that.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely I mean, you're right though, because there is something about it's like you said, it's the rule set that we get.
Mhm.
Like we have when you've been conditioned and you bought into it too, of the like, you have to sound this way, look this way, whatever, whatever, whatever. And you learn ways to adjust to that. We learn to code switch, we learn to and I think it does. This in general goes into like when we're not fully able to be authentic and be ourselves and we're not receiving those things, whatever it is that we feel we deserve from life, and we see somebody being them,
Yeah.
authentic them, and it's not necessarily like you're saying following those rules. Yeah, you like, well, what the heck? That can really
Mhm.
rub somebody the wrong way. And I think
Mhm.
this goes back to kind of what we said earlier. We've questioned, are there actually haters? And now all that stuff is projecting, right?
Yeah.
Like we've said it before. So if you notice yourself and you see somebody just being them out their authentic selves, whether it's how they choose to look, how they carry themselves, how they talk, and you see them getting recognition, applause, or what have you, or hell, love. I don't know why you'd be upset at people for having love and food, but whatever it is, and it's like chafing at you, like that's some inner work that needs to be done. That's some stuff that needs to be looked at.
Yeah. There's a lot of unlearning. There's a lot of unlearning. I think one of the things that I wish was talked about more in like healing circles, healing communities is how much of healing is unlearning. 'Cause I
Mm-hmm.
know for me, that's not what I was expecting. I was coming in like, I am so awesome, but I could be better. And then Daddy Saturn came in, was just like, you gotta learn everything. Everything you thought was right was wrong. Let's start with that. And then the rebuilding can take place.
Mm-hmm.
A big part of that, unlearning those rules, because there's a lot of rules that I think we're taught, and I think parents, society have they're well-meaning when they teach them to us. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you said, it teaches us to not be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be too different from anybody else, so everybody kinda knows how to react to one another. Um, yeah.
And it is white supremacy that has done this to us. But in that vein, and then we'll, move past. But I think about some of the arguments or conversations that I had with people when I was younger who were trying to be like, break this mold. And I'm like, you do things the way, la 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 la. And like, oh, like one of my friends used to always question, like, who considers what's professional?
Mhm.
And I still, to a degree, believe in some level of, I guess, I believe in instilling confidence. I guess when the people you're working with, right? Like,
I just wanna be very clear, I am not fully healed in this area because I definitely have, like,
no, I
certain
know, I
expectations
know.
about professionalism. Like, let's just so we're clear, the whole time you talking, I'm gonna be like, mhm.
I
Yeah, you're
got
right.
you.
You're right."
But I'm saying, like, I believe in like, yeah, instilling confidence. So like, of course, right, if I'm trying to get an appointment with you and I'm calling and your receptionist answers and she has an attitude, or I don't know, my appointment don't get made, whatever, yeah, that's not going to instill confidence in me that what's going to happen on the other side of this interaction when I get to your office is going to be great. So
Mhm.
yes, this person should conduct themselves in a certain way, right? That instills confidence. But that doesn't mean this person can't have an accent. That doesn't mean that this person can't I don't know, be sitting there wearing, you know, jeans and a shirt. I don't know if no one's gonna see them and all they're doing is answering the phone. Like stuff like that. It's like we put certain rules in a place of like, oh, this, and I had a friend who kept saying, like, well, why does someone have to dress a certain way to be
Mhm.
considered professional? Which of course my argument is still like, well, because if your profession requires this and blah blah blah, it's to show like I know how to show up for the task. But really it's stupid.
Some of it is.
A lot of it is.
Mhm.
Like in certain environments, yes, right? Like wear a hard hat if you're a construction worker. But like, do I have to have on slacks if I'm going into an office to sit down and I'm not going to be interacting with anyone outside of this office and I don't need to look any particular way? Now, on the other hand, having worked with people, I do know that there does have to be some standard because people get creative and interesting in places where they don't need to.
Like, I have been in positions and places where a good portion of my job, a lot more than I would like, was teaching folks. Like, please wear to work. Like
Yeah,
it
I knew
was,
you was
you
gonna
know,
say that.
so
Yeah.
so, you know, I have a different mindset on that. I'm still struggling with it, but I do agree there are certain things. One of the ones I had to be broken free from because I have tattoos. I have one. I got a couple. And for a long time, I was like only in hitting places because it's unprofessional to have tattoos. And I'm so glad I finally broke that. I'm so glad I finally broke that. I got two on my forearms. I love them. They're my favorite tattoos out of all my tattoos. And I remember working in the courts, and I had a lawyer who I worked with, who the judge used to call the young Republican. Like that's literally because he just looked
Mhm.
like he wanted to tell women to go back to the kitchen and to obey their husbands. Like he had that look about him. He wasn't though, total sweetheart. But one day me and him were walking from court and it was hot. It was the summertime, it was super hot. And he kind of like took off his blazer and
Mhm.
like his little button down and he was fully tatted. I
Mhm.
mean, from like chest, arms, like full sleeves. And he was like, oh yeah, like I think he told me he had over 50 something tattoos. And I was just like, huh, that's it.
Mhm.
I was like,
Mhm.
"He a lawyer." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "I told my dad I'll find a way around it." And his way around it was just like, "All right, well, I'll wear long sleeves because I like having tattoos." And that was like the first time it really challenged me. But and I agree, there are certain things like that where I'm just like, yeah, because does tattoos mean I can't perform my job?
Mhm.
Does it mean I did not get this degree? Does it mean I don't have these certifications? Does it mean I can't do my job and do it pretty darn well? No.
Mhm.
But like you said, instilling confidence, you know, there's certain things you can do that I definitely
Yeah.
think can needs to stay in place in regards to professionalism. For example, Caribbean restaurants. If y'all could start be open on the time that y'all selected, on the days that y'all decided to tell the public y'all was gonna be open. I'ma still eat there, but it's annoying.
Mhm.
And if we
No,
could
that's
get that together.
100%. But yeah, the rules. Questioning the rules. Yeah, I think if we do notice ourselves being like, how could they? And why don't I? What sort of rules are you? How did you expect this to work? And also, that's their life. Like, I guess, especially with love, that is another area. Yeah, it was like, why it seems so easy for somebody, you know? You think, well, maybe they don't have no standards. Or maybe they don't, which not to say that don't happen, but you think of all these again, it's so condescending and ridiculous. I don't know. I think about it now and I'm just like, girl, mind your business. Like,
Look, like there's just some people that have a wifely spirit. They have a wifely spirit, and the minute they hit single, people know. They're like, "She available," and they just pounce. They just pounce, and I love that for y'all. I do not have that. I we got a whole other thing going on over here.
well, and even too, I really had the thought of like, you don't know why. I don't know why this life, this is for this aspect of their life. This was like, hey, maybe they're like, you need a person. Let's
Mhm.
marry you in your early 20s. This is not
Yeah,
what hell of all the work I have put in this life to get love. Damn it, I need a break in the next life. It better not be hard. We better find each other. No, I'm just like, you know.
I wanna meet you the first day of preschool.
I ain't got to look it. Let me focus on some other shit with all this energy. Okay. It's other things I could be doing. And anyway, when I think of
Look,
stuff like that, it makes me be like, okay, for like one, it's none of my business why somebody is here and what their path is.
mhm.
But maybe that's the reason that their path said, you know what? Love is gonna come to you early, easily. That's not the area you have to worry about.
Look, I y'all know I'm into astrology. I looked at my birth chart and I was like, in my past life, I was either really amazing or like just did not get it right. And they're like, you know what? We got some things for you to focus on. That's just you stuff. Let's not involve other people. All right, you just focus on this area here that do not
Mhm.
include other people. You you see what we can make happen with that. Um, But yeah, no, there's definitely, those people who, get lucky. Well, I don't know. I don't really consider it lucky, but who get to find their person like 7th grade, and, like, that's their person, and they go to high school together, and they go to college together, and they get married, and, like, they're just together forever. And I think for a lot of people, that sounds really, really great and amazing. And then for other people, they're like, "Hey, uh, we thought it would be really cool if you could, like, grow through heartache. No, 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 just listen, listen. It's gonna be so amazing if we just make you think these 4 different people are the one, but they're not at all. That's gonna be fun for you." And then some of us just get that, and we don't know why. But I definitely don't think it's anything to be envious of, because I don't know about you, but a lot of times when stuff happens to me, good or bad, I can usually find that string that kinda ties into other things that happened in my life that needed to happen. Where
Absolutely.
it's yeah, where it's like, yeah, that type of whatever, career, extreme luck in this particular area could not have happened because I really needed this experience to happen to me in order for me to get here, and I really love it here.
I agree with you on that. And I think that's also that takes lived experience. I feel like
Mm,
that's why both of us are like, yeah, maybe when I was younger, I had these types of thoughts and feelings because it takes having lived experience and being able to connect those pieces when we look
mhm.
back over the past and say, yeah, there's been time when stuff was shit, but it worked out.
Yeah.
Or I know now that these experiences that I just were so painful actually really helped me grow and made me be better. And I think it allows us to, when we can recognize that, we can kind of trust the process a little bit more. And then it allows us to look at other people's lives and be like, oh, okay, well, good for them,
Mhm.
and not have that like, but why? Like, I think that's why it happens more when we're younger because we don't have as much to compare it to.
Yeah. I even think about, like, career-wise, not that I want this to happen for a career, um, but I have belief it's gonna help blossom into some other areas. But, like, as a therapist, like, my specialties in the field are things that I actually been through, and I think most clinicians I know that specialize in things, it's because either them or someone very close to them had this experience, and it's why they went so hard on studying this because, yeah, of lived experience, I now am able to use that alchemy, using something that's mundane and turning it into something healing, something special, something golden. And you kinda like you said, have to have that lived experience to be able to see that, because when it's the first time it's happening, it just sucks. It just sucks. And someone telling you like, "Hey, this heartache is gonna help you write a New York Times bestseller." You're like, "I don't care. I'm hurt now." Like, nobody wants to hear that in the middle of it. But when you are celebrating that New York Times bestseller, that's when you're able to be like, have those moments.
Like everything happens for a reason. You're like, I don't care. I want what I want now, today.
Nobody cares in the moment, and there has been so many moments. I think me and you've had this conversation privately. There have been so many moments of things I really, really wanted when it happened that I laugh at now,
Mhm.
that I'm like,
Mhm.
"Girl,
Mhm.
girl, that was a
Like,
whole
I don't even remember
situation."
why I wanted that. You're like, gosh, I mean, you people always say being thankful that things didn't work out the way that you wanted them to.
Mhm, mhm. I have
Mhm.
one I'm not gonna go into it, but I have one particular situation where I got to see in real time what woulda happened if I went through with this, because I didn't. I didn't, but someone else took the opportunity and got to see in real time. That should just torpedo their whole life, and I don't want that to happen to that person, but
Mhm.
also I was like, "Oh, shoot."
Glad it wasn't
And
me.
I was crying over and praying and just like, "I want that to happen. Let's can I move this around and move that around?" And I got
Mhm.
to watch it in real time and was like, "Oh, oh, okay, spirit, thanks for looking out." Whoever was looking out for me to make sure that that was not my L. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
But also sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes it is a good thing, and it happens to other folks. And now what? And it's still a situation of like, okay, let them enjoy that. And there's no reason for hate because that wasn't meant for you.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta be okay with even the good thing not being meant for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like you had mentioned this, that you had heard something that you were listening to or something where they were talking about like blessings being dropped off in the neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, something recently had happened to a friend of mine, and it was another friend. We were all like, yeah, we're all part of the same organization. So something happened to a friend of mine, and somebody next to me, also in the org, was like, "Yo, wasn't that what you wanted? Isn't that like what you've been like kind of working on?" And I was like, "Yeah," but I was like, you know what? The fact that this happened to them has me feeling like, you know what? I'm not gonna be mad that, Santa came to their house first and dropped off this blessing. The way I'm looking at it is that means Santa's in the neighborhood. And my house is about to be dropped on its next. And the person I was talking to was like, you know what? Yo, I've never even looked at it like that. And I was like, yeah, I just kind of taken on this mindset of it. I think I heard an analogy like that a couple years ago, and it just
Mhm.
kinda stuck with me. And I was like, "You know
Mhm.
what? I like that." Not only is it a matter of I can be happy for you, but also, like, why not even also look at it as that means good things are happening to those around me. I gotta be in line for it next.
Mhm. That's a good mentality to have because really, I mean, when we talk about one, I guess we are going to talk about it because we always do, like attracting stuff to you and like what, like manifesting things and stuff like that. Like the energy and the space that you want to do that in is from a place of being grateful, grateful for what you have, and also celebrating others around you. And I think sometimes, especially when maybe you are in a space where it's hard to feel grateful for
Mhm.
maybe what you have because you don't have what you want or whatever,
Yeah.
celebrate others, celebrate in their success and joys with them and get in on them good feelings
Mhm.
along with them. It is a much better space to be in than, oh, I want what they have. Like, I've had to learn that as a practice because I've had so many friends who make more money than me. Um, and that is
I'm
really
laughing because we somehow always touch on this topic where
because
you're
it's
like,
a theme, right? It'd be like, I worked so hard. But I've had this experience. And so like I like got myself in the habit of more being like, yeah, I want that too. Just not even like I want mine too. Not like spending too much time doing any type of comparisons of like why they have this and why I don't. Just wow, that is so good for you. Man, I'm be happy when I get mine too.
yeah.
And just
Yeah.
doing that. But I also had noticed like heck, even being able to know and have friends who are doing well is good.
Yeah.
It has been good for me. So it's not like there's nothing to be upset about. And I like to be the same. And that's also put me in more of a state too, because I have friends who don't mind like hell, come along with us. We get it. We know you ain't come on. When I'm
You want me to get
when
you a
I'm
ticket? I got you. I
right.
got you.
So I've gotten more of like, yeah, thinking about how I want to be when I do, have this money, and I try to do it in small ways here and there when I get, I have extra change, buy a friend a gift, send a friend a cat, do these things
Mhm.
because that's how I want to manifest. Like I know that's what I want. Like when I started
Yeah.
thinking more and more about like what I actually want to do with these things in my life, and it's
Mhm.
not just like, oh, I want to stack money, I want to do it is things like I want to treat my friends.
Mhm.
It's like earlier this year for my birthday, even being able to be like, hey you guys, I got the Airbnb, y'all just come.
Yep.
Just come and hang out, and being able to just take away that burden just so we can hang out. Like I want to be able to do those types of things. And I know that because I've enjoyed that from some of my friends around me
Mhm.
who have shared their, well, that sounds like a breach, but shared their blessings, I should
Yeah.
say, and their gifts with me. It's like, oh yes, I want to do this too. Like this is so yeah, I guess if you're gonna want to do what somebody else is doing, pick out the good stuff they're doing and
Mhm.
want to do that.
Well, yeah, and like you said, the energy around it, I feel like it's hard to manifest from a negative place, a negative source. And also, I'm such a big believer what goes around comes around. I'm just such a big believer of that. And so when you give joy, you give thanks, you're grateful, you're happy for others, it brings it back to you. And I know that sounds like some hippy dippy bullshit, but like I've seen it in real time. I've seen it in real time. Luckily, I'm blessed with a lot of friends who have that type of mindset. Most of my friends are like givers. All of us have had moments of like, she's going through something right now. Let me just send her dinner.
Mhm.
Let me just and, um, because of that, like, it creates a circle. Because I know that when I need, you're gonna have, when you need, you're gonna have, and so your victory is my victory because
Mhm.
I know you're gonna do good with that, and you know I'm gonna do good with that. And kinda like you said, kinda like with the friendship thing of, like, they got it, I know, like, they gotta make sure I'm good. So, why even
Mhm.
I even get mad about the circumstance. But yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely think that's how you could keep good favor in your circle. I also think getting into that, what's meant for you is meant for you. And like if you get something not meant for you, you always gonna fumble it anyway.
Ooh. Ooh.
Like there's definitely
Mm.
times I've, witnessed the whole and not even witnessed, especially in my younger years. I've experienced this myself of like being envious over something that I could not have handled at that time.
Mhm.
They got it, they handled it well, they did well with it, and some of the things that came with it, I did not know did not know at that time what to do with that. I was
Mhm.
not prepared for that. Like, when I think of, like, now, especially I think, like, on social media and stuff, you'll see somebody getting shine, and people are just like, "Them, they not even talented. She not even cute enough. She not even blah, 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 blah. You know what I would do, what I did that?" No, we don't, not 'cause you don't got it, you're not going to. So we don't get to hear your side. And that's fine. Guess what? They're doing great with their opportunity they're getting. Why can't we be happy for them? A lot of us aren't built for some of the stuff we are even asking for.
That's real. No, that's definitely real. Because we do again, we assume that we can do what other people do. Like, that is yeah, that's a really negative energy from, like, "I could do it. I could do that."
Mhm.
That type of attitude, I could do that too. All they did was put this right here and do this, like, you know?
I'm pretty sure it was Jay who was like people who never done it talking about how they would do it or something like that. Like it's a thing.
Mhm.
It is definitely a thing. And yeah, I think sometimes once you get that ego off, recognizing like, you know what? That wasn't even meant for me. I don't why am I mad?
Yeah, and I like when you said, because it also gives to the point of, like, there's no sense in ruminating on the past, on what was not done. Because I've definitely done that, and I'm bringing up money again because honey, it's been a source for me
I
to
see.
work through,
I
child.
see.
Listen, but looking back, I would think about, if I hadn't made this mistake, if I
Yeah.
hadn't done this type of thing, I would be much further ahead. If I
Mhm.
didn't do, like, I would have spend all this time, like, really just ruminating over, like, how things should have been different. Whether
Yeah.
I could have done them different, whether somebody else could have done something different. And then today I would be in a better position. And I'm talking
Mhm.
about long drawn out thinking sessions to how, if
Mhm.
A didn't happen to be, and there is no point. There is really no point, because what happens happens, and you are where you are, or I am where I am, because that's just exactly what was supposed. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there is no need to spend time doing that.
Mhm.
That goes into, even if ruminating over, if such and such had just done blah blah blah, then we could have been together and bought our house, and I'd be having my
Mm.
like. But yeah, spending time thinking about how, if these magical things that didn't happen had happened, how you would be further in life. And
Yeah.
it's just not true. I think you know, like you say, you can't miss what's for you, and we're
Mm.
always exactly where we're supposed to be, even when we don't want to be
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, and I think of like how many people do we know in the public eye that talked about all the times they thought was going to be their big break that wasn't. That was somebody else's like big break, or end up somebody else end up taking the song, or somebody else end up getting the lead part, or when they brought this investment idea to them, they was just like, it did not make sense for me at that time. I'm thinking of like Will Smith. Will Smith was originally supposed to be Neo in The Matrix. He was like, the storyline did not make sense to me. You know what made sense to him? The Wild Wild West.
Oh, is that
That
what
was
it's
the movie he
called?
chose over it. Yeah. But like the thing is, he still ended up being Will Smith.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right.
He still ended up being Will Smith. And I guess that's how I kind of look at like old things that like you miss is just like he was supposed to be who we know him to be. So it happened either way. So, yep, he did not take that part, and that ended up being a huge movie. It blew up Keanu Reeves' career and made him like a household name and blah blah. Yep, it did that because like he was still supposed to be Will Smith, go-to black actor, household name, and so he still ended up being that.
Mm, you're right.
It happened the way it was supposed to happen. It's fine.
And it was a great movie.
It
Exactly
was a
what
great movie.
go for Keanu. Yeah, because that was meant for him. It was meant for Keanu.
But I think that goes back to the live experience. It's kind of hard to think about things that way when you haven't got to your next part.
Mhm,
You haven't got to reach that point yet of like, this is where I was supposed to be. This is why that did not happen. I get it now. And I think it can be hard for people to hold on and have that faith when you don't have examples of that happening to anyone around you or in your life. It's hard to keep that faith because it's like, I mean, y'all be saying that. I don't know if that's true. Or maybe it happened to those folks. It ain't never happened to me or any of my folks. But
mhm,
like, if you're struggling that part, I really ask you to really consider one, what is your mindset like? Because also, it's kind of like that you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. There might have been plenty of times where there were lots of connections and there was lots of aha moments, but you were so stuck in anger that you refused to see them. I have this conversation all the time with my brother, who I love. I love my brother. He's one of the most pure-hearted people I know. I love him so, so much. I need to call him and just let him know I love him so, so much. He don't know because I hate being on the phone with him because he will talk to me for 4 hours about how Tupac is still alive in Cuba. But me and him have to have this conversation all the time because when he's mad, he's like, "No, I've decided to be mad." He don't care nothing about the truth. He don't care nothing about other perspectives. He's like, "No, I've decided to be mad, and I'm gonna focus on being mad right now." And when you have that mindset, it's so hard to get those gems to help you keep the faith and push on to your next great point.
mhm,
You have to be open to, okay, what am I learning for this? What can I teach from this? What is the silver lining? And that's not just on some like hippy dippy, let's be positive BS that delusional people keep up with. Like, that's on some real, like, that's how you learn, you push forward type stuff. We all have bad things happening. We all have missed opportunities. We all have things. One of the things I actually recently had this conversation of, well, how do those people make it? How do those people that become successful make it? Because I know I have the talent. But, like, I'm tired of pushing through and not seeing things come to fruition, and one of the things I said to her was like, "Girl, the only difference between you and those people is consistency, delusion, not audacity." That's literally anytime I go over a story
mhm,
or because I told you I like to read up on people who, inspire me and figure out how they did it, how they kept pushing and so forth. Yeah, don't get me wrong, there are some that, like, just they mommy and daddy's got connections, and that's how they push through.
mhm,
That's how their life worked out, and that's cool. I'm not mad at nepotism. Trust me, Kari is about to benefit from all the nepotism in the world once I get it. I'm putting her she never danced a day in my life, but she wants to star in Cats. Guess what? She's starring in Cats. I'm not mad at it.
mhm,
But from those who did, like, really have to work to get to where they are, a lot of times, I would say 85% of the times when I'm reading their story, it's, like, based on nothing but delusion, consistency, and audacity.
mhm.
Some of the people that we consider the greatest at blah, 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 was trash on their first try. Horrible. Mediocre as hell on their, like, 8th.
Mhm. And this is why I love like listening to things from like independent artists and just like how they are doing things and building up. Cause a lot, I mean, this is a time and it's coming. it's happening more and more frequently. And just them saying like there was one I was listening to and he was like, I'm not the best, I'm not the greatest, like I'm living, but I'm consistent.
Mhm.
I'm gonna show up every day. I'm
Mhm.
gonna, continue to learn and grow. And I also love because so many are sharing their stories of like,
Mhm.
hey, here's this new thing I tried. Here's what worked. Here's what didn't work. And
Mhm.
it's also because they truly want to share this knowledge and information because they believe that you knowing this information and using it to do what you need to do is not a threat to them.
Yeah.
Like we can all shine, we can all have what we need.
There's plenty of pie.
There's plenty of pie. And that brings to another point I wanted to make of like this type of mentality comes from a place of lacking of
Mhm.
that of thinking that there just isn't enough. And to be fair, we get told that.
Mhm.
The way that our lives are set up, our society is set up, it's told there's not enough for everybody. So we have to allocate it, you know. Only the people who do this type of thing or who work in this way or who are this important or who are the
Mhm.
ones who are deserving of this, this, and this.
Mhm.
And then on the other hand, oh, these people are so because we believe that, because we have people going hungry, because we think that, because so many things tell us that if you have something, then that means that I can't have it because you're the best. And we're all trying to be the best and the number one and the top and the greatest.
Yeah.
Means that there's not a spotlight for everyone else.
Yeah, that mentality, well, it can only be one great, it can only be only one blah, 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 like, there could be more. This
Mhm.
one could serve a need for this one could serve a need for that.
And the thing is, and this isn't even just, and I know we mentioned it like energy and method, but like legit your brain, like open up your mind and your neural pathways to the idea that things can be different and that there's space for everyone.
Mhm.
It gives you space to come up with new stuff, to figure your stuff out. But when you really believe there is no way, oh, because this person is in the way, or because only that type of person gets to do that types of thing, and I'm not that person, or whatever it is, like when those are the types of thoughts that you're spinning around, yes, you are stunting yourself from being able to figure out how you can get whatever it is that you're trying to get to and to be able to make the moves that you need to make because you're spinning around negative thoughts and limiting thoughts is what they call them
Yeah.
self-limiting ideas. It's a real thing. I've had to battle with those type of limiting beliefs, especially, oh, only certain type of people do this, I had to do it this way, and oh, because I didn't go to school for this, or I didn't whatever it is, I haven't been
Mhm.
practicing. Even we think about it like
Me and you had a conversation about this just last week of you having a limited thought on something and me being like, "Why not?"
yeah, yeah. Yeah, right. It's still something I have to challenge them because I'd be like, well, but I can't do like
Mhm.
even when it comes to I had a coach at one point and I remember telling her, I was like, yeah, but other people have, do this thing. And she
Mhm.
was like, and they got Sara Lee bread and Wonder White bread. And she was like,
Yeah.
all these people still coming out with bread. Like, so, what does it have to do with
Yeah.
you? And I hold that thought in my mind whenever I find myself being like, well, but that I'm like, so what? Like because even doing podcasts,
Mhm.
people make a podcast, right? They're out
Everybody got
there
a podcast.
everywhere. And hell, it still ain't as many people listening, but we all love it.
But
Because I swear I still run into people all the time who are like, a podcast? You mean like on YouTube? Like they don't have the same concept. Anywho, not going down that road. But my point is like it challenge having the idea that like everyone can have a space. It
yeah.
challenges me, you, us, everybody to think about like, okay, so what is individual about you? And I think it makes me want to put more of me in it because we're all individuals. I literally
Mhm.
cannot be recreated. So
Right.
if I can keep things close to home and personal and put myself into it, I know it's gonna be, unique. And
Yeah.
people who rock with me are gonna rock with what I'm doing, regardless of what it is, because it's attached to me.
Yeah.
Well, not
I
regard, as long as it's good, which of course I will only do it. But go ahead.
no, I'm just yeah, no, because I think, especially considering podcasts. This is definitely a thing for me. This is definitely, yeah, it is. I now remember for like the first year I was podcasting, I did not let anybody in my circle know I was doing it. Except for the people that were like helping me with it. And I would not post it on my personal. I still don't like post on my personal, but that's just because that's funny, goofy time. That's my personal music, funny, goofy time. But I wouldn't post it and I would not share it. And then finally being like, well, how are people gonna know if you don't share? But even the things with like number wise, I think it's hard because now we have algorithms where before it felt like if I'm good, enough people will find me and they'll share it and they'll listen. But now you got people sharing it, and the algorithms like we don't care. I'm only going to send the show to people out of the 1,500 that follow you. Good luck with that. And that's just a thing you got to deal with. And I think about it because I have another podcast and my other podcast does well. And I put not nearly as much effort into that podcast. And every now and then I get really frustrated about it
Mm.
because with that podcast, I work with a production team and everything. They'll send me the numbers. And I have an episode that I did almost 3 years ago from that podcast that I still get monthly numbers on. It's still one of my third. It is the worst in regards to sound. Hadn't figured out audio. It was horrible sounding. My
Mm-hmm.
editing was horrible as hell. My it's all it's I want to take that episode down so bad.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost 3 months old. And whenever they send me my numbers, they give me my overall numbers for the month, but they also give me my top 3 episodes. It is still in my top 3 every single month. And sometimes I use that to try to feel myself and motivate myself to be like, again, you up here tripping about this and the edit. Oh, I didn't edit this right. Oh, I forgot to cut this out, blah, blah, blah. One of your worst episodes, in your opinion, is everybody
Mm-hmm.
else's favorite. It's keeping your numbers up. I took, I think, a 3 month break from my other podcast, and that episode alone was keeping my podcast in like the high hundreds of being listened to when I was doing no promotion. I had no new episodes, no new nothing. That freaking episode was still getting listens every month. So I think I got a little bit off. What I told you there. I was meaning to bring it back. Yeah. So that comparison of like, oh my gosh, and how much work, even when it's against yourself, of like, I put so much work into this, and so this should be blah, 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 blah. Like, unfortunately, that's just not always how the universe works. We want it to be, that's how it works. But unfortunately, the way the universe seems to work is like, yeah, I decided this is for you, so this is what's gonna happen. And this is when. Timing is everything. And it's just, it is what it is. So while you're waiting on your time, whether it's for your career, whether it's for love, whatever it's for, why not be happy while you wait? Or at least not hate. If we can't be happy, can we at least be neutral?
Yeah, because you really are spreading bad juju to people when you sit around being jealous of them and whatnot, according to someone I know. Plotting
Uh,
on my life.
Plotting on your life.
Girl, you gotta hear that. I mean, we're gonna assume that things have changed and no one around.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Girl, I'm so serious. But so let's talk about some ways that we, can shift to being more grateful.
Mhm.
Cause honestly, like it's something that I know myself. Like I had to build a practice of, and now it comes a lot more naturally. But
Yeah.
I feel like before, when people would be like, make a gratitude list, be grateful for things, like, I get it. Okay, there I got air and sun and like whatever and food. Like it just was very like, how does this help me? Who cares? But honestly, I mean, I'm serious. I really felt that way. People like make a gratitude journal, like, okay, whatever. And I'll write some stuff.
Anytime, anytime if someone tells me to journal, I get annoyed.
Right. But it
And I be
has
making clients journal all the damn time. But anytime somebody tell me to journal, I be like,
Mhm.
all right,
and
so this is enough talking to you. Where's Ashley?
and I feel like in writing the stuff down really, I mean, honestly, it hasn't helped me as much, but it is one way though. Actually like shifting your focus though to those things. And I mean, excuse me, I know that it has helped me. Like anytime I may even be in any type of mood or whatever, shifting
Mhm.
to gratitude has always been helpful. It has become more helpful. But I have days like yesterday, I was so grateful. I was so full from just having a great
Mhm.
weekend. Just really, I was just in tears, just so thankful. And it was great. Like I love just savoring those kinds of moments
Yeah.
because they're just the reason, you know? Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of reason for everything. And so, but that comes with like practice, right? Of I know
Mhm.
for me, and so even though like I was saying, writing it down didn't always help, but like I know it's a song because I know you mentioned Londrell before. But there's an artist, Londrell, and he has a song called Gratitude, and it's literally gratitude for the sunrise, gratitude
Mhm.
for the this and that. And I don't know, for some reason, listening to more and more songs that are like, I'm happy and I'm grateful for these things, it's like it gave me the words
Yeah.
to be able to really get what that looks like.
Yeah.
You know, what it act like, because again, I feel it may be also, when you're growing up, they're like, praise God for another day. You woke up another day, and you're like, okay, to do what though? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm in that space. So it really took some outside things, hearing, and I love using music, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. Because even like I tell my clients, I don't have all the thoughts and all of the words.
Mhm.
Somebody else has said it or written it or done it in some other way that
Mhm.
might click with you.
Yep. Word.
And so for me, music has helped a lot.
Yeah, and recognizing like it might look different for you. Like as she said, writing don't work for her. Writing don't work for me either. I think we talked about this in another episode of like both of us because of traumatic childhood experiences don't feel safe with our thoughts on paper.
Mhm.
Um, but both had religious undertones. But anyways, that was the thing, and you got to figure out what works for you. For me, like I found out being in nature and meditation really helps me with gratitude.
Mhm.
Because I'm definitely one of those people who, like, in the midst of me, like, wanting to break down and cry, and then try to be grateful, I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to. It hurts. Like, it's very hard for me in the moment. And then
Mhm.
I calm down. And I find that nature, and I'm not a nature girly. Like, I'm not. I'm very much like, are there gonna be bugs?
Mhm.
Like, I just that's very much it. But I love going to parks. I love, yeah, I love going on walking trails. I love biking on a really nice trail that's full of greenery and looks like a forest/jungle. Like, I love that. And I made that a practice last year. I tried to this summer. It's too hot, y'all. It's not it was 8 a.m. this morning, it was 98 degrees, and I was like, "No, I'm just
Mhm.
we're gonna be where air condition is." But,
Mhm.
when it's cooler, I make that a practice of mine of, like, going out and going biking on a regular, and just while I'm out biking in nature, like, I just get so happy. The sun is hitting me, and I'm like, "Ugh, melanin activate." And, like, I just next thing I know, I'm just like, "Look at the grass and the trees. I'm so happy to be alive." This is amazing. I should take a photo of this. But also the same thing with meditation, something about being present in your body really, really helps me with being thankful as well. Um, I'm very airy. I tend to be very much outside of my body a lot of the times at the ground on a consistent basis. It is just does not feel natural for me. So I have to like be very conscious of myself and do it. But I found also when I'm doing that meditation, when I'm still in my mind and I'm just grounding, being still, after a couple minutes of that, I'm full of gratitude. I'm full of like love. And I'm just like, I want to give this love to everything. And I'm like,
Mhm.
love to friends, love to family, for the sunshine, for the rain, and it flows out of me. But that's how it works for me. You have to figure out ways that it works for you. If you do the journals, you do okay, I'm going to make a list of things to be thankful for, and I'm going down, it's not working. Don't keep trying to force yourself to make that work for you.
Right.
Go look up what other ways other people have done it and see how that works. I
Mhm.
have a friend who like yoga, that's what it is for her.
Mhm.
Love yoga. Whenever she's feeling stressed or feel like, I'm doing a little bit too much, that's how she gets into that state of gratitude for her.
Mhm. Hmm. I mean, moving your body. I mean, kind of like you said, being outside, yoga. I know for me, also moving my body is definitely one of the things. Like whenever I go for a run, I feel so like even, and I talk to my clients about this too when it comes to like accepting your body and like body love and gratitude. We always start with gratitude. Like, I don't care if you're thankful for your lungs for breathing air, if you're thankful for your big toe for keeping balance, like whatever it is, like these things all matter. And if you have to dig that deep, because maybe on the surface level, we haven't found anything that we feel that excited about. But I know for me, yes, moving my body, because like whenever I go for a run, I feel grateful for my body. Like, dang, my legs did this, my lungs did
Mhm.
that. I always love there's a lyric from Regina Spektor where she says, I've got a perfect body because my eyelashes catch my sweat. As in
Mm.
like it works the way it's
Yeah,
supposed to. Things do what they're supposed to do, and therefore I am perfect and I am
I love
happy.
that.
And so I'm grateful for that, and so getting out and doing things and kind of just seeing what I can do, seeing what
Mhm.
my body can do, or taking control of something in my physical space. I can't fix world hunger, but I can clean off my desk. And then I can sit back and be grateful for a cleared off desk. If that's what it is. So that's what building a practice, I think, of gratitude kind of looks like. There's multiple ways that you can access those feelings, but once you got to get started somewhere. So I think once you start looking into that and finding what works from you, and it's being grateful for what you have, non comparison to others, because comparison is the thief of joy, is what they say.
Yeah, I love that. 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 I love it. So yeah, if you are trying to get out of that hater space, you're like, okay, what's one of the things I can do? Shift over to gratitude. There's lots of ways you can do it. It does not have to be a one size fits all. Figure out how it works for you. But also, if you're a person you're like, okay, I do the gratitude thing, it still's not helping, learn to use what you're seeing will happen with other people for motivation.
Yes.
For a lot of people, that's what works for them, being like, "Oh, okay, they were able to do this in 2 months, and I've been trying to do this for a year? Okay, so it can be done." It just one video can change your life. Just I can have 5 listeners,
Mm-hmm.
but one of those listeners can be a producer, and that could change my life. Find a way to make it motivate you. If you're the type of
Mm-hmm.
person where it's like, "Okay, gratitude's not really necessarily working for you, what next?" Alright, what about motivation?
Mm-hmm. As they say, don't hate, appreciate. Okay.
Find out what works for you. But no, hating does not. I have not seen one situation where hating worked out for the other person long term.
So yeah, if you find yourself feeling that and you're like, I'm not a hater, but you notice you got that judgy, little jealous, little, or you're breaking out your list to check off why somebody doesn't deserve something. You check in with yourself, what you got going on.
That why don't somebody deserve something? Yeah. 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 That's a great way to describe that. Why if you find yourself thinking why someone doesn't deserve something. But that's all we have for today's episode. We hope you guys enjoy. You guys can follow us on Instagram at SheWolf Alchemy, on TikTok on SheWolf Alchemy, on Threads on I'm pretty sure SheWolf Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everywhere. If you just type in SheWolf Alchemy, that's probably our page. You can go to our website at www.shewolfalchemypodcast.com. And you can email us at shewolfalchemypodcast@gmail.com if you need to get in contact with us. We appreciate you guys for listening. We ask that you like, share, leave a review wherever you're listening, and you will hear the sound of our voice on a new episode next Sunday. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.